What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Next Success. I'm Skylar Beitendorf.
And I'm Adam Bastian.
And today we're going to talk about time, that you have the time you need to be able to create the life you want and be able to do the things you want. So, yeah, let's get going. I think Adam kind of inspired this topic.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about it, just about how important time is and how we utilize our time. Like if we have free time, what are we doing with that free time? Are we watching a movie? Are we learning a new skill? Are we working out? Are we sitting on the couch? Are we making connections with people? Or are we just chilling by ourselves watching YouTube? Like what we do with our time during the day determines everything in the quality of our life and where we'll go. I've been thinking a lot about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And his, he talked about a lot about like his upbringing, like his rise to acting, his rise to bodybuilding, his rise to politics, school, everything. And he says there are 24 hours in a day. If you sleep for 6 of them, you have 18 hours every single day to maximize your life. And he says he was going to school for he was working out for 5 hours a day. Working construction, going to school, and taking acting classes for those 16 hours. And then he would go to bed and do it again. I just think that's really interesting. Like, it just makes me think of myself. Like, what am I doing every day with my time that is helping me get to where I want to be?
Yeah. Yeah, you think about every person out there that is successful, like all the greats, if you will. They have the same amount of time we all do. I think the difference is they use their time wisely. Like they don't sit back they don't relax until they've earned it, I think, is kind of the difference. I think a lot of us, it's so easy to just, I had a long day at work. Now I just earned myself a movie, 10 episodes, that bowl of ice cream.
Which is totally fine to do, but if it's every day.
But it feels so much better when you earn it. Like when you know you put in a hard day, you've put time, you've invested time into learning a new skill, new instrument, new ideas. Or you read a book and you put in the work, sitting back and relaxing feels amazing. Like that much better because it's like you earned it. So I think the most common phrase like we hear people say or sentence is, I don't have enough time. I don't have the time. And I think that's always it's kind of a lie in a way. It's not that you don't have time because we all have time, right? But it's putting your time where it's valuable to you into the things that you really appreciate. So,
what are some, if you don't mind me asking, what are some things that are valuable to you that you put a lot of time into?
I put a lot of time into relationships. So I'm dating someone right now and I say a good amount of time into that. And so that, that takes up a lot of my life. So that, then work. I have a home maintenance business, so that takes up a lot of my time, especially the days where I'm actually out there servicing homes. And then there's work on the back end to do. And then, doing this podcast, doing personal development, growth things, creating a product to help people really change their life, change themselves, and be able to improve their lives. And so that takes up a lot of time. And then, sleep takes a lot of time too. But you were talking about that earlier. Sleep. Yeah, how...
Was I?
Well, you were kind of talking about how Arnold Schwarzenegger, he says you don't need to sleep 6 hours a day. If you need more, then just sleep faster, is something he said once.
Yeah.
And
it's if you think, yeah. He says if you think you need 8 hours of sleep every day, sleep faster.
Right.
It's sleep for 6.
Sleep for 6. All right. And so I think a lot of these things that take up a lot of our time, they don't care about the quantity of the time, how much time we spend in them. It's all about the quality of it. So like sleep, for example, some people may need 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep because their quality of sleep is trash. They're going to bed at like 1. Because if you go to bed, so I took a class on sleeping, spent hours learning about it. Probably like 12, no, I don't know. Let's say 20 hours learning about sleep, just like sitting there learning, taking notes, and they went into like depth on it. But like if you go to bed past like 10, 11-ish, we'll say 10:30, every hour you're up, you need to add like an extra 2 hours of sleep, because there's a point at night that your body is like not working optimally, and it takes like double the power to actually keep you up and moving. So I think a lot of like sleep is, you do need like the 9, 10 hours of sleep if you're getting to bed really late. So I think it's about going to bed at the right time so you can wake up 6 hours later. Mm-hmm. But then also our body temperature lowers when we go to sleep, or it wants to. So if we're sleeping when it's really hot, you ever slept somewhere where it's like boiling hot?
Dude, the place I'm living at, every summer, like the AC goes out. Every summer.
Shoot.
Dude, and like it will be like 92 degrees in the house. Like last summer, I was sleeping on like the back deck. I just rolled a sleeping bag out. Like it was cooler outside in the middle of the summer than it was in the house.
Holy crap.
So that's where I slept.
Yeah. So like it's miserable to sleep when it's really hot outside, or just hot in the room, wherever,
Yeah.
or outside if you're like Adam. But yeah, so our body temperature wants to lower to about, I think optimal sleeping temperature is like 65 degrees. And so lowering it down to there, you'll have a much deeper sleep than if it's like a little too hot, right? And then, oh man, I'll grab my notes. Maybe we'll do an episode just on sleep. Probably not, but who knows?
I mean, it's
I can grab my notes for that.
I didn't know you'd put that much time into learning about sleep. That's kind of, that's pretty sweet.
Like having, like being lacking like an hour or 2 of sleep, lowers every system in our body by like 20% or something like that. That's not a real number, but it's around there. Like everything lowers just by like getting to bed an hour later and waking up an hour later, versus going to bed at like 10:30 and waking up at 5, 6, whatever is optimal. But everyone's body has a different, it's called a circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to go to bed at a certain time and wake up, and that varies from person to person.
Right.
But I think the average person wants to be in bed about 10:30, wake up like 6:30. And if you think about that, that's 8 hours of sleep, but you're still going to bed somewhat early, kind of more on time, but you're waking up, in the 6 o'clock hour.
Do you feel like you sleep pretty good?
When the last couple nights I've slept and I've lowered the temperature in my apartment, and I've slept phenomenally.
Really?
Like when the temperature is lowered, I sleep so much better.
Actually, I have noticed that. I had a companion on my mission who would, this was a little bit extreme, and I used to get really upset.
Yeah.
Because he would lower the apartment down to like 50 degrees.
Holy crap.
And so it was like I'd wake up and my nose was frozen. Like in our apartment. Like it was cold.
Holy crap.
Like to the touch. So I would wake up every night because I was cold, and then sneak and go turn the thermostat up. And then he would wake up pissed because he'd know. He's like, you rose it. And he didn't even look at it. He's like, you rose it 10 degrees. And I was like, it's still 60 degrees in here.
Yeah, it's still pretty cold.
I was like, it's freezing.
Yeah.
But I would sleep super good. And he did it because he had sleep apnea, and then that would help him sleep.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Something I've also done over the last year and a half, which a lot of people probably think is weird, but I don't sleep with a pillow.
Really?
Yeah, they're on my bed, but I just throw them off at night, and I still sleep with a pillow because there's a lot of reasons to it. And I have a buddy who's like an expert on the reason why that's better. But ever since
you have pillows though, right?
I have pillows, I don't use them at night though.
What?
Yeah, I sleep like.
Oh, tripping me out right now.
Well, everyone will think it's weird because everyone sleeps with a pillow. But if you think about like, I don't know if you like the caveman days, if you will, like we probably didn't have pillows. You just slept on the ground, right? And so it was a flat surface, so our body is like more aligned that way versus being all propped up. And when you're propped up, your jaw is more likely to open and cause snoring. And when you mouth breathe at night, it really affects the quality of sleep as well. So he actually uses sleep tape and puts a piece of tape from his like nose, like down to the middle of his chin where your goatee would be, and that keeps his mouth shut. And he actually will nose breathe all night and wakes up with a super clear nose and just has slept amazingly. So that's another thing with sleep is like breathe through your nose. You get sleep tape, and that will greatly impact the quality of your sleep. But ever since I stopped sleeping without a pillow, I dream better, and I don't need naps. When I was sleeping with a pillow, I would need a nap like every day. Like I'd be like, I feel exhausted. And I still take naps from time to time, but when I don't, after not sleeping with a pillow, I don't need them like near as much. It's wild. Now when I put a pillow under my neck, I'm like, it feels weird to have my head all propped up,
Yeah.
and my body's flat. So that's another thing.
So do you like sleep on your back, on your side?
Usually on my back,
stomach?
sometimes on my side, usually like stomach or back. But I like to sleep on my back because then also my face isn't being like smashed at night. It will, you won't age as fast that way too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah, kind of wild. So if anyone wants to try sleeping without a pillow, just know it will feel weird for probably a week or two, maybe 30 days, but
Forever.
forever. Nah, dude, it's awesome now. Like I can't sleep with a pillow anymore because when I do, I wake up and I'm like, my body hurts. And I realized that that's how my body would feel normally when I would sleep with the pillow. And I just thought it was normal. I thought it was the mattress, but in reality, it was the pillow. So kind of weird, but give it a shot. Just know it will feel weird for like a couple weeks, maybe a month. But after that, it's like it's amazing. I don't know. It's cool. Anyways, this episode's not about sleep. It's about optimizing
Got a
your
little
time.
sidetracked.
But that's part of it. It's
Anyway.
like you don't need to sleep quite as long. You can wake up earlier when you do these things to get the better quality sleep versus the quantity. Then you can get more done.
Yeah. Like I'm straight up a morning guy.
Yeah.
Like I will wake up just to catch the sunset. Oh, it's sunset. Sunrise.
Yeah.
The sunset. Yeah, no.
It's really early.
Yeah, I'll wake up
Or
to catch
late.
the sunset, no biggie. Easy. No, I'll wake up to catch the sunrise just because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know, there's like this stillness about the morning that isn't like that at night. Like when you're just about to wake up, when the world's just about to wake up, there's this like peace on it. And I feel way different. And it's really cool just to sit there and just like, in a way, meditate, I guess.
Yeah.
But just think about yourself and like the world. Anyway, you should try it. But I found when I wake up in the morning, like early, I have a lot more time to do the things that I want. And I'm a lot more productive. And I think it's just because I'm giving myself more time to do the things that I would love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate waking up at 9 or 10, which doesn't happen a lot. But when I do, it's like, man, the morning's almost gone.
Mm-hmm.
And something I used to do is I'd wake up and then go on a walk just immediately. And I'd take in that morning air. I'd get the sun on my face. And that's you're right. There's something super peaceful about it, really calming. And like normally if we were sleeping outside, that's how we would wake up, to that morning fresh air and that the sun just, where it's still cool, but the sun's hitting your face. It's I don't know, it's a cool feeling. There's something about
No,
it.
yeah. No, I agree. 100%.
It's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. If you don't do it, you should try it out.
Try it out.
Yeah. Anyway, we keep talking about sleep and
Yeah.
the morning and stuff.
Because it's important.
But the way you start out your day, the way you use your time in the morning, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I go to work at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then I work till 10 p.m. And I found the days when I wake up later, I get nothing done, and I just sit there around my house and I just wait. for work to roll around. But if I get up and I go out and do something, I'm a lot more happier. And I have a lot more ideas come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot more proactive. I feel healthier. I don't know. It changes the game.
It does. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what's something else that takes up a lot of our time every day? So if you sleep for 6 hours, you have, what, 16 left?
Video games, movies, TV shows. I guess it's generally.
I did the math wrong. You sleep 8
Oh.
hours a day, then you have 16 left.
Oh, that means you have 14 left.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, video games. What else did you say?
I just say like video games, movies, TV shows. They suck up a lot of time.
Yeah. Like the digital content.
Do you
entertainment.
Do you watch a lot of movies, TV shows, and stuff like every day?
No.
Neither do I. I stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I kind of try to avoid starting TV shows because a lot of times I will want to finish them. And that means, 4 seasons, 20 episodes a season, 20 minutes an episode. It's a lot of time.
I will slam TV shows.
Yeah. They're fun. They're very engaging.
They're addicting.
They always leave it on a cliffhanger and you're like, oh crap, what's the next thing? And it sucks you in. But yeah, that does take a lot of time. And so I have this thing on my phone I showed Adam earlier, but it was like people will say they don't have time to learn a new skill or to, go to school or do whatever it is you want to do, but you got time for 2 episodes. That's 40 minutes. You spent 40 minutes a day on learning a new skill, a new instrument, reading books or whatever. In a month, you'd be pretty good at that instrument. In a year, you'd be amazing. Like, how long have you been playing the banjo?
A couple months.
How much time do you put into it?
Probably like 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Okay. So 30 minutes a day. Is that every day? 5 days a week, every other day?
It's close to probably like 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
But I'll just pick it up. So
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I play the banjo. I started a couple months ago. And I just went to the store. I bought one. And because I was like, oh, I really want to learn it. I feel like this would be a cool instrument to learn. And I've been playing a couple months. And I've impressed quite a few people. They're like, wow, you've been playing for a long time. I'm like, nope, just a couple months.
Yeah.
So,
We were hanging out with a bunch of friends, and Adam brought his banjo. First off, it made everyone super excited. They're like, "Oh, let's hear it!" And he played like a stud. And he, only been playing a couple months, 30 minutes a day, not even every single day, but I guess maybe it averages out to 30 minutes a day when it's 5 days a week or something. But he could have spent that same time watching a TV show or doing something unproductive. But he chose to do that, and it brought joy into people's lives.
When I like learned the most songs and got comfortable with the basics of the banjo, was I got COVID, and I was super sick.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do, and I just bought this instrument, and I was like, well, I want to learn it. So I would like watch TV, but I could only watch TV for so long until I got really irritated and just like annoyed. And so then I was like, you know what? I got all this time and I'm sick and all I can do is stay in my house. I might as well just play the instrument. And so I just played the banjo for like 2 weeks straight because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. And my mind was like, I can spend this time watching a TV show, not really getting a whole lot, or I could learn an instrument. And then after COVID, I'll have a new skill. And that's kind of what happened. And then every day it just kind of stuck. But, I could have very easily skated by and watched video games and TV shows my whole 2 weeks of COVID. But instead I threw in an instrument, and now I have a skill that will last a lifetime,
Yeah. Well, and that's a skill you can, that gives value to other people, but I think it also keeps your mind sharp. And music just has a fun energy about it. Or, it can be fun. It can be, very soothing. It can be, it's whatever you play. But like that's like a skill, an instrument. Like when you have kids, you can like play it for them, and they'll be like, "Dad, play this, do that," and like that will you have that forever. And even, if you don't play for a long time, yeah, you might get rusty, but I feel like it doesn't take too long to get back into it and to just bring back the muscle memory of everything.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I didn't like watch TV or play video games or anything, because I did a lot of that during COVID, but I used some of it for the banjo and for other things that I knew I could learn.
So like instead of watching 2 episodes of the TV show you're watching, watch one. Spend the rest of the time learning a new skill that you would like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see people being like, oh, well, I want to do that, but I don't have the money to buy the instrument I want, or to buy the equipment I need to start a podcast, or whatever it is. It's like, okay, but if you have that time, I bet you could go on Google. You can find a way to use your time to make some extra money,
Mm-hmm.
and you can then buy the thing you want and then spend your time on that thing.
You know what I think about money, though?
Hmm.
About that, when they're like, I don't have the money for it. And sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But I think, how often do we eat out?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you eat out, let's say, like, I know people eat out once a day, like easily once a day. And it's like $10 a day.
At least, yeah.
That's 7 times 10, 70. Times 70 times 4. That's $240 a month.
Yeah.
That's how much my banjo cost.
Yeah.
If you just don't eat out and cook your food, you spend that elsewhere. Like you'll have the money for it. It will take a little while, but it pays for itself.
Right.
Or it's like going to the gym. When I was, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I started at it. I got a gym membership. And my mom was like, how do you pay? I just can't commit to paying like X amount of money. Well, $10 a month for this gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you think about it, you're paying $10 for a gym membership. You go 10 times in that month, that's $1 at every visit. You go 30 times that month, that's like 40 cents a visit. You got 40 cents lying around in your car, in your house. I was like, $10 a month isn't anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, you break down the math, it works. You just have to, finagle it a little bit.
Or one time when you're out with your friends, if you, and they're all going out to eat, just be like, okay, this time I'll just get a water. I won't get anything. That's usually about $10-15, and that pays for a whole month of a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have the time, you have the money. Like you were saying, it's really, if you divide it up between the days, it's really not that much.
Yeah.
You could go to a friend or something and be like, hey, want to buy this for $1? Okay, that pays for, 5 days of your membership. Or, that's a really small example. Like most things are worth more than $1.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you guys get what we're saying.
It's just your perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
You change your perspective just a little bit, and you'll get to see that there's a lot more opportunity at your fingertips than you thought there were. They're right there. All you have to do is take them.
Yeah.
But you have to look at them a certain way to see it.
Absolutely. Something that I started to do, I don't do it every day. I used to do it a lot more, but I would get 24 $1 bills. And I would encourage people to try this to see how much time you actually have. Every dollar represents an hour. So if I sleep 7 hours a day, I'll take 7 hours, put them down. And then if I work for another 5, 6 hours a day, put those down. I'm not doing the math very well in my head right now, so that's 13 hours gone, right? Then if I'm spending an hour a day sitting down and eating and making food, okay, that's 14 hours. I still have, 10 hours left? I still have 10 hours left to do whatever I want. Maybe some people work more, okay? Throw another 4 hours into there for work or whatever it is. I still have 6 hours left in a day. But when I take those and put them in dollar bills, I'm literally holding the time, if you will. And I'm like, okay, I can take 1 hour and I can invest that into like sharpening my mind. I'll read a book for 30 minutes and I'll practice an instrument for another 30 minutes. You still have 5 hours. When you start dividing it up between putting an hour into your relationships, putting an hour over here, you still have an hour or two you can relax if you want. But that's a great way to visually see your time and where it's going. And maybe you have no dollars left at the end of everything you got done. If you're working out an hour and a half a day, your workout cares the quality of the workout, not how long you're at the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could cut that in half down to 45 minutes and you just go hard at the gym. You don't take you don't need a big break between workouts. Some people take like a 2-3 minute break between going from shoulders to chest or something, but really you only need like a minute to recover depending on the workout. But sometimes you can cut down these things and still get the same result. You just got to put in more effort in the time, put more quality into that time. So that's a great way to visualize it. I don't know if you've ever done something like that.
That's really smart. I think it's really showing that like time really is money. Like it's valuable, just like money is.
Yeah.
Like money buys us things, but time provides us time provides us the opportunity to go get those things.
Yeah.
So it's just as important as the value to buy it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Or something I do a lot is like I printed out this sheet. They're all over Google, but just like a 24-hour day schedule. And I laminated it. And so I have a marker. What do you call it?
A whiteboard marker? A dry erase marker?
Dry erase, yeah.
Okay.
And so I can put in, okay, this is when I'm going to sleep tomorrow. Like I'll do it the night before, but I'll be like, okay, sleeping from here to here, working out from here to here, reading books from here to here, working here to here. And I can like actually see my whole day and what I'm doing for every hour and make like a plan for the day. And I plan in time to relax because then one, I don't feel guilty about it. And two, I think it's important to keep us moving, to spend like, 10, 15 minutes doing something you like, kind of chilling out, not almost putting your brain on like just coasting for a minute, because then letting it cool down. If you think of an engine, you let it cool down, you let it, you don't work it. But then once you start it up again, it's like, hey, you can go further. And I can't remember where I heard it, but I've heard this from multiple sources. And it's like if you're working, you spend 45 minutes working and then take a 15-minute break, and you do that every hour, they've shown that you're more productive during that 45 minutes having that break every hour. I've not tested that. I've not talked to someone who's tested that. I've just heard that from multiple sources, doctors or podcasts.
What I have found, and it goes back to like learning an instrument. So when I say this, usually people are like, "Oh, you can play." I play the ukulele too, but they're like, "Oh, you play the 4 chords." No, I rip at the ukulele.
Nice.
It's a good time. But and I've learned the banjo, and I found it's harder. Like I'll be trying to learn a banjo song, and I'm sitting there playing it, and I'll play it through. It's super rough. I have a super hard time. But I found that if I put the banjo down, and I let it rest, and I rest, and then the next day, I pick it back up, I play it a lot better the next day than I did the day prior with no practice in between. And I think it's because in between that period, I'll be thinking about how to play the song. Mm-hmm. And I can't, you were talking about your planned rest. Yeah. And I was just thinking, do you think, you know how so when you work out, your muscles grow. You work out, you get them super tired, you're breaking up the muscle fibers and stuff, but then they actually grow when they're resting because then it heals over and whatever. I was thinking, do you think we grow, our minds grow on our rest days? If you're doing nothing but working every single day and you're exhausted, are you really growing or are you just exhausted? Are you giving your mind time to rest and to kind of heal over? They talk about mind, what's this? Oh, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
So if we don't give us any time to have hindsight or to look behind us on what happened, do you think we'll ever mentally grow if we're just working all the time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think that's a really important point, powerful thing to know, is that you do need to take downtime. And it's almost like the analogy that came to my head, because is for information at least, I think like I love the analogy of like working out. Like you got to take time to rest so you can go you can work again and build past that.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's almost like something someone would tell me is you got to take in the information, let it marinate like chicken in a bag with the teriyaki sauce. You got to let it marinate, let it soak in, let it absorb the juices, the flavor. And then you cook it later. You don't cook it right after because then it wouldn't have had time to absorb it. But if you have to the next day recall everything that you've absorbed, I think it makes it that much more like solid in your mind, and you remember it way better. And if because you can read a book, you can hear all these good things, but if you don't actually remember it, and you can't recall the information, then it just feels good for a little bit to have done that, and then it's gone. Like what if you worked out, but if you didn't work out, like it's kind of is how it is. If you work out one day and you go hard and you're sore and you don't work out the next day and the next day and the next day, it doesn't actually do anything to your body. You got to keep doing it to like build that up. So I played the violin for a long time, and something my violin teacher would say a lot was, it's better to practice 5 minutes a day for a week than to practice an hour for 1 day a week. Like you'll get way more in from that consistent like daily practice than spending a ton of time on 1 day. So I think it's better. And I totally found that's true with everything in life, is spending that 5 minutes, just that little time, whether it's working out, reading a book. You'll eventually grow to where you can do more per day, but that's a huge thing, is being consistent and doing it on a daily basis to be able to grow those things.
So
Anyway,
consistency. No, it's good.
Yeah, just what you're talking
Well, it's like in my job, we'll have something happen. So I work at a prison. I'm a correctional officer, and we'll have an incident happen where an inmate will just go off the wall crazy. And I don't know why I've never really thought about this, but I just did. But like last week, I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week. We had this guy had a seizure in his cell. Fell down, hit his head, started bleeding. And so we go in there. So they activate the little emergency system. And so then I run over from my unit over to this other unit. And we get dressed up, suited up, and we pull him out. He ends up getting consciousness, and he wakes up. And he's a little like irritable though. But he's still in his cell. So we finally convince him to come to the door. And we're able to handcuff him. So I handcuff him, and then we pull him out of his cell. And we bring him down, put him in in a room, do everything we have to. We get him to the infirmary so he can get seen by medical and make sure everything's okay. But after all of our incidents, we have a debrief. So we all get back. Everyone that was involved goes back to a room. And we look at each other. And the guy who was running the show, or who called it out, runs this meeting. And the meeting is basically what happened, what we did, why we did it, and then what could we do better. So in the moment, we're not really trying to figure out what we could do better. But then afterward, after we're at ease and rested from it and kind of cooling off and relaxed, we look back at the situation. So then the next time it happens, we're that much more prepared. So I was just thinking about like taking rest. Like when life is crazy, deal with it. But take some time afterward to relax, to assess it and see what you could do better for when life gets crazy again. And then just the consistency thing, So if there's something in your life that's kind of driving you crazy, or like you feel like life's crazy, maybe take a minute, maybe deal with it, do everything that you can to fix it, and then take a second and do a debrief, and then think, what can I do better? Like what happened? What did I do? Why did I do that? What can I do better? So then the next time it happens, you're that much more equipped and prepared to succeed and to handle it better than you did before.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That's so huge. Like even just barely right before we started, Adam gave me some feedback on kind of a mindset that I have that's not necessarily like a healthy way of doing things. And then I went and used the restroom, and just having that little time away from him, I was like, realized like, man, everything he said is true. And I was able to like ponder it for just a second. And I was like, man, I want everything to be exactly the way I want it. And I want everyone to want what I want, so that way it's easier to do it. But then like in that moment, I realized, man, no one is going to want the exact things I want. They're going to want things a little different. Maybe kind of the same general area of what I want, but not exactly. But if I wouldn't have taken that time away, it wasn't even intentional. It was just,
Yeah.
I realized that in that moment, being able to like be alone. And so, yeah.
So you had a debrief.
I had a quick debrief. Yeah. I was like, okay, is what Adam said true, or should we go beat him up? Just kidding. I don't think I could beat you up if I tried.
I don't know. You got height. You could probably destroy me.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
But the point is, like, what Adam said is so true. It's like, you got to take away, like anytime I'm in an argument with somebody, which isn't often, it's usually with like family things that we disagree on. But like, if that happens, I'm always like in my head. I'm in my ego. When I step away, my ego is able to walk away, take a break, because I'm not with everybody. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. And then when I'm by myself, I can actually think like, okay, maybe I was in my head. Maybe what they said was right. Maybe I was wrong about the whole thing. And I think that's a big time when like pride can get in the way, because a lot of people won't go to that person and say, hey, I was wrong, or my view is maybe a little incorrect. Let's compromise on something. Let's do it your way. I've realized it is better. So don't let the pride get in the way of the progression. But having that time away is super important. So, man, anything else about time?
I don't know. Let's utilize it and use it.
Like you have time, yeah.
Nothing's worse when you have the time and you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's a waste.
It's like having a map to buried treasure and just framing it up on your wall.
Yeah.
It's
Not
like,
taking it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have everything you need to go get rich or go get riches, booty.
Booty.
Just like the pirates said, to go get that booty. And like you have everything for it, which is time, and then you just tuck it away in a drawer or frame it on a wall.
That's literally exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, like time is so precious. And the way that we use it determines our life. If we don't use it, our life isn't going to be that precious.
Mm-hmm. They've interviewed hundreds and thousands of people who are on their deathbed or like in their elderly years. And they would ask them like, what do you regret in your life? What do you wish you would have done different? And they always regret the things they didn't do, not the things they did do. They regret the time not spent in growth. They regret the time not taking those opportunities, not utilizing what they had available to them, not taking risks. So just know if you don't optimize your time, it might be like uncomfortable sometimes to change habits, to change from what's comfortable to what you really want. But if you don't, it's going to hurt a lot more later than it does now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were talking before a little bit. And I've kind of lived by this. I think I just made it up, or I don't know where it came from, but I'm just like, if I suffer now, it will pay for it later. If I suffer a little now, I'll do better later, and I won't have to later. But if we don't suffer now, we're going to have to suffer later. Like, suffering is a constant. Like, we're going to have to go through it.
Yeah.
Regardless of who it is, everybody suffers. But like, you think about these, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he suffered a lot now, but then look where he's at now. Like, oh, he suffered a lot then, but look where he's at now.
Yeah. And if he wouldn't have suffered in the beginning, he would have probably been doing something he didn't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd be kind of just an average Joe, I bet. And it would be a lot more painful for him now, knowing he could have done a lot more. Like, I wish people could realize everything that they were capable of being, like, so clear and so well that they would take action on it. Because I truly think that anybody out there, anyone listening to this, if there's something you want, there's literally no reason why you can't have it. The only thing that's stopping you from getting that is you. It's where you put your time, it's where you put your money, it's where you invest your bandwidth. And it's up to you to make that change. And if you don't know how to get something done, well, guess what? You have Google. There's people around you that know more than you do. So leverage your time, your money, and the people and resources around you. And frick, you can do whatever you want. It's true. I know that's really cliche, but
You can.
you don't have to live the life your best friend's living.
It's
Not
true.
that it's good or bad, but you can do exactly what you want to do. Just know there's consequences, good and bad.
Yeah. Just,
Like if you want to go rob a bank, bad consequences probably.
but if that's what you want to do, go. At least you're doing something, you know? Your job security for somebody else, for someone like me, who has to watch inmates, who has to watch bank robbers, It's job security. I don't know.
Never thought of it that way. You're employing somebody.
But at least you're doing something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say like do what you want, and you have the power to do everything that you want, but don't belittle other people because of it.
Right.
Like, it's cool. It's cool that you have your own life and you're doing what you want, but don't put other people down because of it.
I think I
Because it's
struggle
really
with
easy to
that.
do that. So
Yeah.
I do it all the time. And then I realized I'm an idiot. I literally just, I've been okay, this is completely, this will be the last of it, and this is totally off topic, but I've started to reach out to people recently that I've recognized I totally wronged.
Yeah.
And I'll just reach out to them and just apologize just out of the blue. And I'll say, this is kind of weird, but I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean it like that. This is why I did that. And it's no excuse for me, but
Do you call him or do you text him?
Just depends. Depends who it is.
Depends on how severe the.
No, it just depends.
Wrong is
Some
too.
people prefer to be texted, some prefer to be called,
Yeah.
It's all situational, but I've been trying to make it a point to kind of go back and attempt to heal things that I have broken, that I didn't realize I broke,
Yeah.
that I was just being selfish. So, anyway, completely side note, but use your time wisely. I just echo what Skylar said.
Yeah. Use it wisely because you can do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us on this podcast episode about time. Hopefully you got something from it. We really hope you do. I do every time we have a podcast. I feel like I learn something every time, and I just leave, and I'm like, that was such a good one.
Heck yeah.
So, anyway,
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
yeah, we'll see you later.
See ya.